in logistics and supply chain management with over 35 years of experience. He's an alumnus of Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner President Management Program, and is an accomplished Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator this evening, Mr. Niral, kadawatharachchi, everybody. As we set out for the panel discussion, a very awaited moment on the Q&A as well, we'd like to once again remind that you could download the Blueprint 3.0, ladies and gentlemen, by scanning the QR code.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think you have been waiting for a long time, listening to lengthy description presentations. The speakers in their enthusiasm to deliver what they have in mind, what they are promising people, it went a little over time. I hope all of you are okay, and we were waiting until the Honorable Sajid Premadasa comes, and he was able to catch up with the time. Thank you very much for doing that. So these questions that I have are all from the audience. So there are about 9-10 questions. I have about 20-30 minutes to complete the Q&A session. So I am going to dive into the Q&A straight away. The first question is to Honorable Sajid Premadasa. This question was asked by Anishka De Silva from the audience. What actions will the SJB take to cut public expenditure? Increasing the taxes alone cannot be the only solution. Over to you, sir.
So we will take a very careful look at our expenditure programs. We will be very, very surgical in our approach in allocating resources to the priority items of the national development agenda. We will make all attempts to cut down waste and unnecessary expenditures, and the policymakers and the decision makers will act as role models in terms of utilizing the very scarce resources that we have, and we will ensure those resources are allocated for national, economic, social, educational, health, and other priorities. We will also make sure that there will be adequate accountability and responsibility in expending the finite resources that we possess. It is very important that as temporary trustees, that we are very particular about the manner in which we use and utilize the taxpayers' funds. So we will, on the one hand, strive to eradicate waste, mismanagement, duplication, and also direct the resources to ensure that we achieve our national objectives, and also, on the other hand, be accountable, responsible, and transparent in allocating funds, in implementing programs, and we will also have a very strong evaluation and monitoring mechanism to ensure that objectives are reached within a specified time span. So that's the way we will strive to ensure that government expenditure is controlled and managed in a manner that it contributes to the nation's prosperity.
Thank you very much. The next question is Honorable Asha De Silva. The question is from Amira in the audience. This is a bit of a long question. I'll read that out to you. The youth aspire to be able to afford a vehicle, afford housing lease, and afford a reasonable living. Our neighbor, India, has been able to make the economy bearable, while Sri Lankans are pushed against the wall and left to leave the country seeking a better future. What practical methods will you take to make the wishes of the youth attainable, and how soon will it be?
Thank you. I mean that's the real issue, right? It's about our youth, it's about our kids. That's what I said, we hope to be able to, hope our kids will be able to inherit something that they would love to live in, not to leave. So our whole effort, Niral, would be to try and help these people feel that we are on the right track. Things are not going to change overnight, right? I mean, today people see what others enjoy, TikTok, Instagram, these see not just here in India, but across the world. These are not things that, are unachievable. But it somehow seems so far away in this country. Young people, when they get married, would love to have a place of their own. But how many young people are able to buy an apartment, build a house? It's beyond the reach of young people. Nothing for less than 20, 30 million rupees, right? And go out in the periphery. Affording a house is impossible. What do they want, like you said? To buy a car, small car. These are not unreasonable things. But if you can create wealth, if you can create opportunities so that these young people can be employed, that provide them with a decent salary at the end of the month, or provide opportunities for entrepreneurship, I guess then they'll feel like, look, my dreams may come true. They want to work hard, like Kabir's example. You can't just wait, do nothing, and demand, diyao, mata diyao. It's politically appealing. We are citizens of this country, everybody will need to be given something. That's not how the world works. So we've got to create opportunities. I think what we will do is to create those opportunities for young people to work hard and then enjoy the fruits of their hard work. Like Lee Kuan Yew, I think, said, unless you work hard, you will not achieve anything.
Thank you, Harsha. The next question is to Honorable Niral Vikramaratne. The question is from Mohammed Dilshan in the audience. What will you do to change the corrupt system and also to create a healthy economy, not taxing the few individual taxpayers? I think it should be taxpayers, basically. What will you do to change the corrupt system and also create a healthy economy, not taxing the taxpayers?
On the corruption issue, I think it's a question of trust. I talked about the Independent Public Prosecutor's Office, and I think it's a question of actually it working, because if it works, and one of us is put behind bars, I'm telling you it will solve the problem. It's a question of trust. On the taxpayers issue, I don't know exactly what the questioner was really after.
I think he was asking that in the tax net the numbers are small, and instead of taxing who are in the net already.
Okay, yeah. I'm complete agreement. The tax net has to be widened. We had that exercise in 2017-18. Didn't become very popular doing it, but we almost doubled the number of taxpayers in the country. Everybody needs to take responsibility, and we have a social responsibility to actually pay the taxes. So I'm talking here as a professional rather than as a politician. We all have to make our contribution. So many people were outside the net. We were able to get them to come into the net, whether they were professionals, because that's the only way that you can create some social stability. And I agree, the burden has to be borne by everybody, not just heaping the burden on those who are already paying.
I think they're also looking for value for money. Whatever they want to pay taxes, they want something back in return to the public. Perhaps that's the back of his mind too. The next question is to Honorable Kabir Hashim. The question is from Manjul Pereira. I think this was answered, but I think maybe you can give a quick answer, Honorable Hashim. What areas, sections of the IMS agreement will be renegotiated under SAB administration?
I think Harsha spoke about it, in fact. The IMF have already clearly stated to them that we are looking to make some amendments within the framework. We want to stick to the key targets. So the framework within, you can always change certain things within it. The revenue to GDP target of 15.4% in 2028 is something we will stand by. The debt to GDP target of 95%, also the 2.3 primary surplus, those will not be changed. But we've consistently said that how we differ is how we get to those targets. So, for example, the burden on the people in terms of the pay tax is huge. And we talked about the personal income tax. We want to amend the slabs from 1% to 24%. And for those under 500,000, that will give relief to a lot of people who are in the pay tax net. And for those over earning above a certain amount, 36% will still apply. So there won't be huge losses of revenue because compliance will become greater when you make it easier on the people. You spread the tax net as you were talking. And also the imputed, also talking about the imputed rental tax on your household, the house that you're living in. We are not in agreement with that. We want to make an amendment because it's not fair, it's not practical. Also capital gains tax, already in the market there is a tax on the transaction at source. So having another additional capital gains tax is not a problem. It is going to be a problem because we need to incentivize the capital markets. Our capital markets are going to play a huge role because of the capex of 2%. Large infrastructure projects will have to be funded by public-private participation and from the equities market. So unless we support these, it won't be practical. So we looked at these changes within the framework and it won't affect the agreement with IMF. I'm sure they will be able to accommodate our requests.
Understood, very clear. I think this will be the last question. It is to Honorable Sadiq Premdasa. How are you going to tackle SOV reforms?
State-owned enterprises can no more be a burden to the country, the economy, the taxpayer and the people. we have to make sure that SOEs become sustainable resources to the country. So, SOE reforms is integral to the transformative economic policies that we hope to implement. We believe that SOEs have to be looked at individually. Those who are presently making profits, we need to ensure that we have methodologies to enhance the profits. Those who are loss-making, we would look at models that exist in Singapore, the Temasek model, or the Khazanah model, as you have in Malaysia, whereby the SOE reforms will be specific, targeted, and ensure that they don't become a burden on the country. In the same context, I would like to say that certain SOEs perform important functions which are directly correlated to national security issues. So, we will look at those aspects. For example, energy security is something that we have to look at. We have to make sure that those security interests are also taken into consideration when we look at far-reaching reforms. We would like to ensure that services that are rendered and delivered by the SOEs should be of high quality and standard. And that can only be achieved by bringing in new actors, new private partners into the competitive process. So that a competitive process will ensure that there is delivery of high quality and high standard services to the customer and the consumer. So that's the approach that we will take as far as SOE reforms are concerned, and that's an issue that we will address in a forthright manner, because these are issues that cannot be avoided. It cannot be shelved. These are issues that we have to discuss. We have to be transparent and open about it. And our primary goal is to make sure that SOEs are not a burden on the country and the economy, and that SOEs provide an efficient service to the people of Sri Lanka.
Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think that's the end of our Q&A session. On behalf of the organizing team, I would like to thank all you in the audience in large numbers. We had a packed house today. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening.
ගත්තද? මොකක්ද කිව්වේ? GR again. You have a ඒ වගේ මොකුත් තියනවද?